Most people think financial disasters happen suddenly. They imagine one bad decision, one reckless purchase, one mistake that ruins everything. But that's not how it actually works. Real financial collapse is quiet. It starts with small compromises you don't talk about. Decisions you make not because they're smart, but because they're necessary. Here's a situation almost everyone has lived through. You're driving to work when a warning light appears on your dashboard. Your stomach drops instantly. You already know what this means. If you catch it early, maybe it's a $300 fix. Annoying, but manageable. Then you check your bank account. You have $42 until payday. So you do what millions of people do. You ignore it. You turn up the radio to drown out the noise. You tell yourself you'll deal with it later. You hope the problem doesn't get worse. 2 months later, your car breaks down on the highway. Now, you need a tow. That's $200. The original issue damages something bigger. The repair is now $2,000. You miss work because you have no transportation and lose another $300 in wages. That original $300 problem has become a $2,500 catastrophe. Not because you were careless, because you didn't have a buffer. This is what being broke actually means. Small problems don't stay small. They compound. This isn't bad luck. It's math. If you've ever felt like you work harder every year, but your bank balance never climbs, or like one bad day could wreck your entire month, you already understand this system intuitively. Quick pause. If this feels familiar, comment buffer. Not for motivation, for awareness. Because once you understand the mechanics, you stop blaming yourself for the symptoms. Now here's where most financial advice completely fails. You're told wealth is about discipline and poverty is about bad habits. Stop buying coffee. Cancel subscriptions. As if saving a few dollars a month is enough to overcome a structural penalty. That advice ignores a basic economic reality. When you don't have capital, you pay penalties. This idea is best explained by something known as the Boots theory of socio-economic unfairness, originally described through a character named Sam Vimes in a Terry Pratchett novel. The concept is simple. Two people need boots. The wealthy person buys a solid $50 pair that lasts 10 years. The poor person can only afford $10 boots that fall apart after 1 year. After 10 years, the rich person spent $50. The poor person spent $100 and still has wet feet. That's the math of being broke. You don't pay less because you buy cheap. You pay more because cheap fails. And this dynamic is everywhere in modern life. Take something boring but essential. Toilet paper. If you have $50 available, you buy in bulk. Your cost per roll might be around 50 cents. You're set for months. If you're living paycheck to paycheck, you don't have $50 to lock up. You have $4. You buy the small pack. Suddenly, you're paying $1.50 per roll. Same product, 3 times the cost. This is called the poverty premium. When you're broke, your personal inflation rate is higher because you're locked out of bulk pricing and economies of scale. This applies to cleaning supplies, diapers, medicine, food staples, almost everything non-perishable. And then there's banking. If you have $10,000 in your account, banks treat you well. Fees disappear. Perks appear. If you have $20, the system turns hostile. A forgotten subscription hits for $25. Your account goes negative by $5. The bank charges you a $35 overdraft fee. You effectively borrowed $5 and paid $35 for it. That's an APR that would be illegal anywhere else. Yet banks make billions every year from overdraft fees, overwhelmingly from people with very little money. The rich earn interest, the poor pay interest. It's a wealth transfer disguised as service fees. And no, it's not just about responsibility. Psychology plays a massive role. When someone is under financial stress, their cognitive bandwidth shrinks. Research shows scarcity can reduce effective problem-solving capacity by an amount comparable to losing a full night's sleep. This is why people under pressure make short-term decisions that look irrational from the outside. Payday loans, convenient spending, survival choices. Not because they're stupid, because their brain is overloaded. The Boots theory isn't just about money, it's about mental energy. The person who can buy quality also buys peace of mind. Fewer decisions, less worry, more bandwidth to plan, learn, and build. Now let's scale this up to cars. A person with savings buys reliability, a dependable used vehicle, reasonable interest, predictable maintenance. A person without savings still needs transportation, so they go to a buy here, pay here lot. The car is overpriced. The interest rate is extreme. Over time, they may pay $15,000 for a car worth $4,000. And often, the car breaks before the loan is paid off, so they're paying for a vehicle they can't even drive. That's the poverty trap in high definition. Housing follows the same pattern. Renting feels cheaper short-term, but it's effectively paying 100% interest. No equity, no ownership, no stability. Owning is often cheaper monthly over time, but requires a down payment. If you're paying most of your income to rent, you can't save the down payment, so you remain trapped, paying more for less. You end up renting everything: shelter, money, stability. And there's another hidden cost most people ignore: time. If you have appliances at home, tasks take minutes. If you don't, they take hours. Laundromats, long commutes, limited grocery access. When you're broke, the friction of daily life is higher. Everything takes longer, and time lost today reduces earning potential tomorrow. So yes, this system is unfair, but understanding it is powerful, because the goal early on isn't getting rich, it's stopping the bleed. If you're paying 20% interest on debt, paying that off is a guaranteed 20% return. Better than any market investment. Buying something once instead of repeatedly replacing it is an investment. Which brings us to the most important concept of all: the buffer. That first $1,000 emergency fund isn't boring advice. It's a weapon. It turns emergencies into inconveniences. It lets you fix problems early. It allows higher insurance deductibles, lowering monthly premiums. It unlocks bulk pricing. It reduces mental stress. That money is hard to save, but it's the most powerful money you'll ever have. Once you have even a little breathing room, the temptation is to treat yourself. That's human. But the fastest way out isn't comfort. It's permanence. Buying things that prevent future costs. Fixing problems at the root. Shifting from monthly payment thinking to total lifetime cost. Companies rely on you not doing this. They budget for your fees. They profit from your instability. When you start thinking this way, you become a bad customer for them, and a good CFO for your own life. So here's the actionable step. Audit your life for vampire costs caused by being broke. High-interest debt, bank fees, late penalties, overpriced financing, small purchases with massive long-term cost. Find the biggest leak and eliminate it. Ruthlessly. Extra work, selling unused items, temporary sacrifice. This isn't hustle culture. It's a strategic strike against future expenses. The journey is unfair. It takes far more effort to go from zero to stability than from stability to wealth. But once you understand that being broke is a mathematical penalty, not a moral failure, everything changes. You stop blaming yourself. You start attacking the penalties. You buy the boots that last. And you walk out of the hole with dry feet.